Hi there, my name's Andy Hillier and today's guitar lesson is going to be on Blessed Are the Meek from Red Dead Redemption 2. I've done a full playthrough, full cover of it, so if you want to hear what it sounds like all the way through, go and check it out. I'll leave a link to that in the description. I'm going to teach you the whole song, but just before I do, if you wouldn't mind subscribing to my channel, which is Andy Hillier, give me a like on the video, press the notifications, leave me some comments in the comment section, including what songs I should do next. And if you love what I'm doing, you want to support me, support the channel, and you want the tabs for this, which is quite a lot because there's 13 lines of it, then I'll put it on my Patreon page. A link to that is in the description. My guitar is in standard tuning, and the guitar I'm using today is my brand new Lava Me Air carbon guitar. Very cool guitar with a bit of built-in reverb. It just comes through like a little speaker. If you want to know more about this guitar, I've done a separate review on this, or full demo, so go and check that out. I'll leave a link in the description and a card above, hopefully, if I remember. Okay, so let's get down to it. We're going to have to go quite quick because we've got quite a lot, 13 lines to get through. Okay, the first line sounds like this. Okay, so to play that, we're going to do A4 and quickly hammer on to A6. We then play D4, then another A4 hammering on to A6, and then another A6. So bar 1. Bar 2 starts the same, you just don't put that extra A6 on the end. So you get, so first 2 bars. Bar 3 starts the same with the hammer on from A4 to A6. Then D4. D4 hammers on to D6. Then D4. So bar 3. Bar 4 starts with that same hammer on, A4 to A6. And then we've got, which is A4, A2, E4, E2, a little bend out tune, and then back to E4. So bar 4. Okay, first line, here we go. 3, 4. On to line 2, so bar number 5. It sounds like this. So A4 to A6 hammer on, then D4, D4 to 6 hammer on, then D4. So bar 5. Bar number 6, A4 hammers onto A6, A4, A4 hammers onto A6, and then another A6. So you got bar 7. A4 hammers onto A6, D4, then A4 again hammers onto A6, and then E4. So you get, and bar 8 is the same. Okay, so the whole line, 3, 4. On to the next line, and we've got this. So more of the same, pretty much the whole song is really similar. So A4 hammers onto A6, then D4, D4 hammers onto D6, then D4. So bar 9. Bar number 10, we've done this. This is the same as bar number 4. You get, so that A4 hammers onto A6, A4, A2, E4, E2 with a bend, and then E4. Bar 11 starts the same. A4 hammers onto A6, A4, A2, and then E4. So you got, bars 12 and 13 are the same as bar 10, so you get. So the whole of that line, the third line, goes. On to the next line, and we got this. So A4 hammers onto A6, D4, A4 hammer onto A6, and then A6. So bar 14. Bar 15, A4 hammers onto A6, D4, then A6, E4, A6. So yeah. Bar number 16, A4 hammers onto A6, D4, then A4 hammers onto A6, then A4. So bar 16. And then bar 17, A4 hammers onto A6 for the millionth time, then A4, A6, and then E4. So bar 17. So the whole line, here we go, 3, 4. On to the next line, and we've got this. So again, starts a similar idea. A4 hammers onto A6, then D4, A4 to A6, then A6. So bar 18. Bar 19, A4 hammers onto A6, D4, A6, E4, A6. Bar 20, A4 hammers onto A6, D4, D4 to D6 hammer on, and then D4. And then these last two bars, we've done these before. Just watch out, there's an extra 4 on the end of that bar 22. So let's play the whole of that line. Here we go. 3, 4. On to the next line, and we've got this. A4 hammers onto A6, then A4, A2, A4, so bar 23. Bar 24, A4 hammers onto A6, and then 2 A6. Bar 25, A4 hammers onto A6, then D4, A4 hammers onto A6, then A6. So you've got bar 25. Bar 26, A4 hammers onto A6, D4, then A4 hammers onto A6. So the whole of that line. On to the next line and the second page if you're I've got it from my Patreon page. And we've got this. So A4 hammers onto A6, then D4, D4 hammers onto D6, D4. So bar 27, bar 28, A4 hammers onto A6, then A4, A4 hammers onto A6, then another A6. So bar 28, bar 29, A4 hammers onto A6, D4, then A4 hammers onto A6. And bar 30, A4 hammers onto A6, we then play D4, A4, then down to A2. So the whole of that line, here we go, 3, 4. On to the next line, and we've got this. A4 hammers onto A6, then D4, D4 hammers onto D6, and D4. So, bar 32, A4 hammers onto A6, A4, A4 hammers onto A6, and then A6. Bar 33 goes, so E4, E7, A4, A4 hammers onto A6. And then bar 34, A4, E7, E4, E7. So the whole of that line. On to the next line, bar 35. We've got so E4, E4 hammers onto E7, then A4, A4 hammers onto A6, so bar 35. Then bar 36 is just E4, E7, E4. Bar 37 is the same as 35. And then bar 38 goes, which is just A4, then E7, E4, E7, E4, E7, E4. So the whole of that line. On to the next line, bar 39. So E4, E4 hammers onto E7, A4, A4 hammers onto A6. So bar 40 just goes E4, E7, A4, and then D4. Bar 41, A4 hammers onto A6, D4, then A4 hammers onto A6. Bar 42, same thing as the previous bar, we just put another A6 on the end. So the whole of that line. On to the next line, bar 43. More of the same. A4 hammers onto A6, D4, D4 hammers onto D6, and then D4. That's bar 43. Bar 44, A4 hammers onto A6, A4, A4 hammers onto A6, then another A6. So bars 43 and 44 go. Bar 45, A4 hammers onto A6, D4, then A4 hammers onto A6, then the A6. So, and bar 46, A4 hammers onto A6, D4, A4 hammers onto A6. So let's do the whole of that line. Here we go. 3, 4. On to the next line, and it's the penultimate line. We've got one line after this. We've got it. So A4 hammers onto A6, D4, D4 hammers onto D6, D4. And this next bar we've done before. Next bar's the same. Bar 50, slightly different. We've got D4 hammers onto D6, another D6, D4 hammers onto D6, then E7, E4. So the whole of that line goes. And finally, the last line goes. So for that, bar 51, D4 hammers onto D6, then goes D4, D6, A6, D4, and then D6. So bar 51. Bar 52, D4 hammers onto D6, another D6, D4 hammers onto D6, another D6, and then E4. And then bar 53, D4 hammers onto D6, then D6, D4, A6, E4. And bar 54 is the same. Let's try the whole of that line then, the last line, here we go. And that's the whole song. Okay, so let's put the whole song together. So there you go, that's Blessed Are the Meek from Red Dead Redemption 2. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you have, if you wouldn't mind subscribing to my channel, which is Andy Hillier, give me a like on the video, press the notifications. I do read every comment, so please leave me some comments in the comment section. And if you love what I'm doing, you want to support me, support the channel, and you want the tabs for this, then I'll put them on my Patreon page. Link to that's in the description. Well, thanks for watching this. I do really appreciate it. I've been Andy Hillier, and I'll see you next time.